Alright, ready? Let's do this. I love the intros to these.
Oh, Bethesda. They're shit. Hello everyone, it's me, James Stephanie Sterling, a Reese Witherspoon jawline and a big fat ass. And today we're going to be talking about Bethesda and a subject that was a favourite of mine many years ago, Fallout 76. Oh my yes. This past week, Kotaku published an article about Fallout 76's development, and would you believe it? The development was shit. Hardly surprising, because Fallout 76 is shit. The theme of today's video is surprise.
Yeah, it's honestly not that surprising.
The lack of surprise should not exclude your disgust. So, let us discuss Fallout 76 and how disgusting its development
They needed
process
just to
was.
not crunch. They needed at least
James
a couple of
Stephanie
years or so.
Massive
More than they got.
tales.
Just
As if
for a
you
base
needed
game.
Another reason to fucking hate Fallout 76, the piece of shit garbage wank sold on a pallet of
She
lies
just
and
knew in your
desperate
heart.
market trend chasing. It might interest you to know that it was also yet another despicable example of the abusive working conditions that have come to typify modern mainstream game development. Yes, according
Yeah, it's
to
kinda
a
sad
damning
how-
report published recently by Kotaku,
Honestly, it's more
it
shocking when there's
appears
not
that
crunch
gaming
involved.
giant Bethesda can join the ignoble ranks of companies that have earned their billions off the back of overworked and undercompensated developers who broke their backs for the sake of another pathetic industry cash grab. I've made no secret of my distaste for Fallout 76. It's quite obvious by now that I fucking despise it. At launch, I considered it one of the biggest wastes of my fucking money that year, a hollowed out Fallout experience that served only to provide vapid mimicry of a series I previously enjoyed. In the months since, Bethesda staggered from PR blunder to PR blunder, each fresh disaster, usually centering around some word or other that the company had gone back on, be it the notoriously falsely advertised special edition with the nylon fucking bags,
canvas
or the
bag.
incremental erosion of the promise that microtransactions would not provide pay-to-win elements. Oh, it was just cosmetic, until it fucking wasn't. Even the long-promised Wastelanders update failed to wow me, feeling like a flailing attempt to duct tape flesh onto a skeleton. Throughout the years, I've been one harsh bitch when it comes to criticizing this thing, and after hearing about the human costs that went into making it, I won't say I don't feel
a series
bad
on here
about
that holds back.
Although I don't retract a single fucking thing. Like Anthem before it, Fallout 76 was made at the expense of its developers' health and well-being. Like Anthem before it, Fallout 76 was a load of hot fucking garbage on top of being a soul-sucking exercise in employee torment. Another desperate bandwagoning live service in a marketplace littered with desperate bandwagoning live services. And make no mistake, if the game had been good, if it had been great, if it had been downright fucking excellent, if it had been the best gosh darn dingling game I ever did play,
Dingling?
it still
Oh my God.
wouldn't have been worth the torture it put its creators through.
True.
No
True.
video game is or ever will be.
Very true.
At this grim point, nothing about Fallout 76's development should surprise you. Nothing you hear about it should shock you. It is yet another tale of gross mismanagement, failures of leadership, and merciless crunch. The kind you've heard before, the kind you'll hear again, the kind you need to keep hearing about.
Yeah, it's sad how not shocked we are, really.
Fallout 76's QA team felt some of the heaviest burden in yet another revelation that should shock nobody. As the game neared its launch, testers were working 10-hour workdays 6 days a week, strong-armed into overtime for low wages. Kotaku's reports say that testers felt coerced into their excessive hours and were made to work even when they weren't required. In a given example, Testers were brought into work on a newly fixed build of Fallout 76, except the developers hadn't actually fixed anything, meaning they were working on a build that didn't have any of the fixes they were supposed to be testing. If that sounds fucking ridiculous,
Wow.
well, it's because it fucking is.
So they tested
But it
something
does
that wasn't
sound
even
very
going to be.
Bethesda,
Oh my god.
doesn't it? The kind of ass-backwards, incompetent leadership that we've come to know and fucking loathe.
It's
It
just
does
so
sound
fucking.
ridiculous.
It's just so
It
fucking
is
stupid.
ridiculous. But if Bethesda is one thing, it's ridiculous. But it's okay, because when staff were dragged into work long hours at the weekends at the behest of said incompetence, they got free pizza! Woohoo! Free pizza for you! That makes everything
Oh wow.
okay, right?
Oh.
In a situation
Free
that
pizza?
evokes thoughts of Amazon and its famously dystopian treatment of workers, Fallout 76 workers felt constantly surveyed during the project. Break times were monitored, and some people were even followed into the bathroom by so-called chronic snitches, whose unofficial jobs seemed to be spying on their colleagues for management. Well, that's pretty sick. Even sicker than reporting on their colleagues for the executive class, these snitches were apparently not even paid extra or had any additional privileges for telling on their co-workers. They were just fellow employees who believed career advancement could be had at the cost of those in their pay grade. Now that's one hell of a company culture.
I never
Bethesda
understood
has
the whole
going for
treating
it, huh? Says a lot
testers like
about it
that,
such
though.
an attitude and
It's like
such a
they're literally
belief could
testing
be
the game,
fostered. Kotaku
whether
notes
it's
that it
actually going
wasn't
to be
just the
playable
QA
or not.
department that suffered before, during, and after Fallout 76's accursed launch. Developers across the entire span of Bethesda's parent
just hurts my
company,
head
ZeniMax,
how
were
stupid it
pressed
is.
into service on this thing to the point that other projects such as Arcane Studios' Redfall and the long awaited Starfield suffered as a result, with team members drafted to the arduous, stressful job of cobbling Fallout 76 together.
Damn.
The toll on health wasn't just mental either. The excessive hours developers were expected to spend at their desks resulted in physical complaints, including back pain, tinnitus, and wrist aches to the point of needing braces. A large number of senior developers quit
Jesus
the company
Christ.
entirely, while those who remained were fucking wrecked. And like I said earlier, there's no surprise here. I'm sure very few of you, particularly those of you who followed this show for years, could even convincingly feign shock that yet
No,
another gaff
not
laden
really.
service
It's like
game
it's
was
just,
achieved
it's sad
through
how
human
not shocking it
misery.
is.
I doubt those of you who followed the major backstage gaming stories these past couple of years could even muster a gasp at the knowledge yet another so-called AAA company put profits over people and was so disastrously managed by clueless executive dipshits that the resulting toll on physical and emotional well-being wasn't even a good fucking game. It's not shocking anymore. It's not surprising. BioWare crunching its developers to the point that stress casualty became a common term for an artist with a nervous breakdown. Epic Games coercing
That's one of the things that
talent
worries
into
me is
breaking
it's
their
like,
backs to keep the
we're so
juggernaut of
used to it. I'm
Fortnite up
afraid
and
like
running.
people are gonna get
Rockstar
so
and
used to
Riot
it
Games building their vast
that nothing's gonna
fortunes
really
on
be done
boys
about
club
it.
cultures that prized anger-driven managers and
Or
sleazy
they're gonna
attitudes
drag
to
their
the
feet.
detriment of those targeted by said anger and sleaze. Quantic Dream bullying staff members and rewarding bigotry. Ubisoft protecting and promoting harassers and abusers of every lowly stripe for years. Activision Blizzard under the baleful watch of a violent-minded billionaire sex pest, turning mistreatment of the workforce into a disgusting fucking art form. These are just
Jesus.
some of the names, some of the lengthy list of stained names that Bethesda can add itself to. A list of names that never stops growing and continues to justify what I've said for years. Investigate every video game company, every publisher, every developer, because as I've been screaming into the apparent void for years now, the video game industry is rotten to the core.
You hate that
Corrupt,
Detroit
inside and
game
out.
became
As I
popular,
said
it's not even
moments
good.
ago, Bethesda's story
I haven't
isn't
played it, so
shocking,
I wouldn't know.
It's no surprise, but that should never, ever preclude it from being sickening, disgusting, utterly fucking abhorrent. The game industry for years tried to normalize the idea of crunch, tried to get ahead of stories like Bethesda's by glorifying the dedication and passion that goes into game development. And sure, crunch is normal. But normal is not the same as okay, and the video game industry is so fucking far from okay. Never let the normalcy of a story like Bethesda's be seen as a sign that it's fine, that it's mundane, that it's beyond
only
the
good
need
compared
for
to the other
condemnation.
David Cage
Sure,
games, yeah.
you've heard it all before, but if you let that stop you being outraged, you'll hear it again and again and again because it will not fucking stop.
I need to stream that
People will
one,
keep being abused, keep being hurt, keep
it's
being
like
driven
just
out
goofy
of the
as
fucking
hell.
industry by a
Goofier than
management
as hell
class
than I
that
should say,
couldn't
but
manage to wipe
that
its own
Indigo
fucking ass if its
Prophecy
hands were
one,
made out of
I think there's like
charming.
another title for it,
Should
but
also be no surprise that
it's
tech
like so
management had
just
no fucking idea
fucking
what it even wanted
hilarious.
Fallout 76 to be, in yet another parallel to the disaster that was Anthem. Very much like with BioWare's great failure, Bethesda simply knew it wanted to capitalize on the live service gold rush that typified the very late 2010s, but hadn't really thought beyond that. Notorious bullshit merchant Todd Howard was supposed to be in charge of the project, but spent most of his time on Starfield. His presence in Fallout 76's development was colloquially known in-house as seagulling. He would, and I quote, fly by later and shit all over an idea that the team doing the actual job had been working on.
Oh,
Leadership
damn.
had severely underestimated the scope and scale of a live service game, again mirroring what we
They'd
learned
not be
about
holding
Anthem's
back.
creation, and offered no
Todd
additional
Coward strikes
resources
again.
for testing or fixing a product that would operate on a far larger scale than anything Fallout had done before. Developers raised questions about issues that affected massive multiplayer games such as server issues, griefing, and online stability, but those in charge just hand-waved away concerns or outright
always
ignored
right to
them.
hate on this
In
one.
short, those running the show had no fucking idea what kind of work was needed for a game as big as Fallout 76 and seemed to have even less interest in finding out. For years, I've very explicitly used the word incompetent to describe Bethesda. It's perhaps my most commonly used descriptor of its leadership. To see its ineptitude spelled out in full journalistic detail pretty much validates every mocking insult I've had for Todd and the gang, but to re-emphasize the running message of this video, none of this means
BRB?
I'm not
Alright.
fucking repulsed. I'm not surprised, but I am repulsed. For all the mockery, for all the laughter I've hurled at Bethesda for its endless ridiculousness, I'm nauseated all the same that its management only continues to do what corporate management seems to do across the board: fail upwards, find success despite their own
Jesus,
glaring inadequacy, at the express cost of those who have to work
Oh, it's so
underneath
fucking-
them. Of course Bethesda's games are
It's just
always
depressing
laughably
as
buggy.
fuck.
Of course Bethesda's launches are downright renowned for how fucking broken they are. And it
They
ain't the fault
are.
of the people putting in the effort. These projects are led by people so fucking buffoonish, so fucking clownesque, that they didn't even think they needed to consider multiplayer stability a serious concern for a massively multiplayer live service game. When you're dealing with a company
Yeah.
that disastrously run, can you be
they definitely didn't
surprised
think
when
that one
they're
through.
constantly releasing
They're just like, they have,
jank-riddled
it's like they don't
nonsense?
have any fucking
No.
common sense.
You can't be surprised. Because it's normal. Jank, bugs, crunch, abuse, outright fucking incompetence. That's what normal is for Bethesda. And it's not fucking okay. Shit like this is happening constantly, endlessly, and the leaders of the video game industry, the executive class, have the sheer fucking temerity to complain.
God,
and
I don't know where they are,
when game developers,
but it's making me
game
nervous in
testers
that dark corner behind them.
especially want to unionize. It's no surprise that QA testers at Ravensoft were the first to unionize. It's no surprise that QA testers working on Dragon Age 4 have pushed to unionize. They are dumped on constantly. We've known about it for years, and finally they've had enough. They want to push back, and video game companies, corporations in general, fear unionization. They fear collective bargaining. They fear
It's
an
kind of
organised
ridiculous how much they
because
fear
that
it.
means for them the free ride is over. Sure, they'll still continue to make billions and billions of dollars, but they might lose a fraction of a portion of a percentage of 1% of their money. And Lord knows, for corporations, vast, humongous, ravenous entities that want every last conceivable penny in the world, that's just too much give. Well, they probably have had to have given a lot less if they weren't so committed to taking regardless of the human cost. Any unionization that happens in the video game industry from here on out, and I certainly hope that cases of BioWare and Raven Software instigate a lot
God, I hope so
lot
too.
of these changes.
Like, it's such a... Ugh, it's like a fucking crawling upward,
Hello again, sorry.
the most
I know I was in the
humongous...
middle of a rant, but we had to cut it short because some men came and they had caps, so they were scary. So I can't remember what I was saying, but it was probably good. So, you know,
Oh my
feel
God.
free to thank God for me for saying it, and certainly thank God for the unionisation efforts. It's... I need a studio again, gang. Bye.
Oh yeah, thank God for Jim fucking Stephanie Sterling. Oh, it's always so fucking good. Even when the topic's so like fucking depressing, they're still so fucking entertaining. All right. It's still that was good.